This was such a big surprise to us. It was the thing we didn't think about. I mean, we knew we wanted volunteers, but we didn't think about volunteers. Wow, who are they really? You know, and then they come and they just step up, and then their hearts are out there, and then they think of new activities and ideas, and they have all these skills, and you wonder where you were.
If I could write a magic song that everyone could sing, I would write of love, of hope and joy, and things that peace could bring.
You don't have to do much, just relax. Take a breath, enjoy your bad day, because there's a ton of people out there that would do anything for your bad day.
And war would cease if I could write a magic song. I'd write a song of peace.
Trailways, I mean, you get a chance to live out your faith in a real practical way. You know, and when you volunteer at the camp, you're getting your hands dirty, you know, and you're loving on people on a different level.
I have a disability. I was born without a sense of smell. I have something called anosmia.
You might give somebody a big hug. You might wipe some snot from their nose, you know. You might have to trek into the bathroom with them to make sure everything's all right. You know, so it gets very real, real fast. But I mean, that's the cool part about it.
It facilitates me to being able to handle just about anything that's required, you know, in the outdoors, or, you know, at camp. I mean, I have no problem handling personal care needs, and it's turned into be kind of a blessing for everybody, because it wouldn't even slow me down, man. The worst of the worst wouldn't even slow me down, and it hasn't. You know, I've dealt with some rough situations.
It's very refreshing just to have it very unpolished. At the camp, you're thinking on the fly, you're creating on the fly.
And you know what? It's always easier for me than it is for them. It's easier for me to share and help someone that's having a really bad day.
I met Sharon a couple years ago and at tennis, and we went out for lunch. Some of the tennis girls, she told us about her boys, had us all in tears. And that's all it took. And I have a special needs granddaughter, and I thought, if I can do this, I can do anything. So she told us about the camp, and several of us that were probably at the table decided to go. And this is my third camp now. And it was the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
You know, my first camp, and I see it every time, the first day, and I had no idea what I signed up for. Our job is to focus on what they can do. Sometimes that's a little difficult because they're used to just doing things for people. But when we focus on what they can do and look for their ability and strength, it's like giving them a gift, but they're in turn giving us a bigger gift.
I've learned to give more of myself. One of the girls yesterday, she was a little upset because she didn't win at bingo. I said, now wait a minute. I said, you didn't win at bingo, but who caught the biggest fish this morning? And let me tell you something, nobody's ever caught a fish like that in the whole camp. So I says, you get your butt right out there and start playing again. And boy, she marched right back out there. She was just, I got the biggest fish.
Whoever we chose to be our partners would have to believe enough in us and with us that all things are possible. And you trust the people that you have chosen to be your partner, even when some days they don't shine. They just don't shine, because you know the next day they will.
People sometimes they don't know what to do. They feel intimidated almost.
I've got a few other folks that are coming primarily just to help lift campers and lift canoes because they're big, strong guys.
I've always had an interest in special needs. I had an aunt who lived with us for a while who fostered special need children. So I grew up with special need twins. So it appealed to me. I love camps. I love what camps provide. Now I'm out there every day and I stay at the camp because I'm working with the volunteers. I coordinate the volunteers and help them feel comfortable.
That's all we talked about going home, just about the different campers and what they're giving us. It's been my joy.
In any event that you are not sure about a camper, you're not sure how to interact with them the best, your first stop should be really that camp counselor. They have profile sheets, they have medical history, and they know a lot about the campers. And I go through very specific one-on-one training with them.
Sharon says, just come on and volunteer and just love on the people. Oh, okay, I'm a person that needs to know, yeah, what does that look like? So I walk in, I fill out my name badge.
The people that have wheelchairs do have a special life vest that basically it's designed for if you go in and you can't use your arms and legs, it automatically flips you over onto your back and you just lay there. So it's a very, very good life jacket that we have for him.
So I'm just kind of standing back, a little nervous, and one of the campers comes up and just shakes my hand, introduces themselves, and starts talking. I was just blown away. I thought, wow, here I am. I'm received, I'm welcomed. I didn't do anything. I just was here and present. And so that really helped me realize, hey, just being there is very significant.
From that first day when they walk in and when they leave, they're emotionally involved. They are with it. They've become a family.
Since then I've become the volunteer coordinator for Trailways Camp. Trying to fit the volunteer to the right activity according to what they want to do. I and other volunteers are helping with the craft. We already know what we're supposed to do, or we're filling the lemonade or the water jugs and emptying the trash.
I was more uncomfortable around them than they were around me. That I've had to adjust my view about adults with special needs to be able to interact with them.
There might be fishing and canoeing going on outside, but yet we might have a volunteer that can't do that. And we might have a camper that says, I'm tired. So we need someone inside with them.
I'm a registered nurse and I am the camp nurse for the past 3 camps at Trailways. It has been probably one of the outstanding times in my nursing career, and it's been a long nursing career. I think one of the biggest issues here is to have a sense of humor, patience, and a strong back.
I've been blessed with physical strength. I've had the opportunity to help with any physical challenges that were required to facilitate Trailways Camp. So whether that's, handling personal care needs for somebody with, that it's in a chair, I don't know how many transfers I've done. Anybody that's been to camp before this incredible fishing pier has been built by the Millers and Riverside Retreat, I was the one who got the wheelchairs up and down that hill.
Again, each camper has a picture of the camper and so forth, with their name, their address, who their contacts are, whether it's a parent or a group home. Or I personally have on here their diagnosis. We just use first names, their name, their age.
We had no idea what was about to happen. And the explosion of interest, the explosion of volunteers, the number of people that have assisted from this church has just been phenomenal.
And then they're all required to have a physical exam by their doctor, and that has to be provided with any limitations, restrictions.
Looking at Trailways Camp through the lens, I see a change in the individual camper as throughout the week. On the first day, they will be kind of non-committal. On the second day, they're more involved. The camp really does foster an attitude of camaraderie and friendly competition. But the other thing you see is all the campers are willing to help each other.
When they arrive at camp, the parents will bring them to me first, and they drop off all their medications. And this is, again, confidential and personal information that only I have, but I always call the parent. I think this is probably one of the most moving experiences that I've ever had as a nurse. It's a very exciting, and it's something that once you've been here, your hand goes up to volunteer that I want to go back to that camp again.
I've always understood that it was better to give than receive. It felt better on a surface level. And my wife and my mom probably taught me those things, but I had no idea of the depth and support them that they do it.
The curriculum every summer changes. We write our own curriculum, and the theme always changes every year. But the essence of who we are is always the same. Is open doors, open hearts, open minds.
I spend the night with the campers. I can help with personal care needs, transferring in and out of bed at night, adding to the orchestra of farts and snores, because I'm good at those things too, We've had some pretty intense musical, quartets going on in camp at night,
9:30 at night, and somebody needs a roll of toilet paper, we'll be there. To have that moment on the river, having God speak to you for the first time, or
Canoeing. Yes, we put wheelchair-bound people into the canoes, and the joy that they have to experience that.
Getting in a canoe, the level of stoke that somebody will feel on a simple day, these people jump at the chance. As a general rule, they'll walk away with a ton of growth, and I think volunteers see that. Anybody that engages with Trailways is going to see that.
If I had one word to describe what I see in the campers, what would it be? Joy.
If I had one word to describe what I see in the campers, it would be transformation.
I guess I'd have to land on the word acceptance, because that's what I see in the campers. I see the way that the campers love on each other.
If I had one word to describe what I see in the campers, I couldn't do it in one word, but I'll give you a few. Joy, gratitude, bravery, fearlessness, friendship, adventure, independence. I have been lucky enough to be able to have one-on-one access to these kids that needed kind of the most care and the most assistance. Maybe I'm put there to help them with that. You don't have to hesitate with me because I can't smell it anyway, bro. Let's handle it.
here everybody's equal. You're a little bit different, tall, short, fat, skinny. We're all children of God. And I think one of the things that camp's all about, campers can be campers. Not worry about what the world's saying about them, but they get to scream and yell and catch a fish, shoot a water hose, play bingo.
I'm passionate about serving people with any type of barrier, positive change through the outdoors. I think water is the greatest equalizer.
It's been cool to watch our congregation. There's something that happens to the volunteers when they serve. If you're not used to being around adults with disabilities, then you see into their world. You experience life with them for a half a day, for a day, or for a whole week. But even deeper than that, it changes you. You know, there's something that happens on the inside.
They are away from the people that are generally taking care of them. And it's up to them to decide, you know, what they're gonna do with their day. It's up to them to decide what they're gonna wear. You know, it's exciting to see that independence. These people have been told multiple times, and sometimes their whole lives, that they couldn't do something. Bring that challenge on.
And challenge themselves they did. 2016 brought with it both hard work and the need for completion. The Millers recruited volunteers with a purpose and strong backs. The fishing experience was challenging from the riverbank. The Millers had a plan.
We're going to build a fishing pier. We're going to build a walkway down to that fishing pier that will be a safe environment.
We have many campers that are in wheelchairs or are not steady on their feet, and to place them at the riverbank No, that's a little scary. So this really provides a lot of safety.
The first few days we were out there, they were tough. Like I told Jerry, I said, if we'd been paid for this, I'd have quit. Because, oh, that clay out there was so hard, right? Remember? And we put the power auger on it and it wouldn't even go in. It would just polish it.
They have raised funds through donations and private gifts to facilitate the dock, the walkway, and the sidewalks. And without them, none of this would have been possible.
I'm out there and I'm standing within 10 foot of the river, right, with a power auger, and I can't budge the darn stuff.
We finally got a Maddox out there, which that's kind of took on a life of its own, that Maddox thing.
All right, if there's any doubt about how incredibly special this is, I want you to reflect for a moment that you're all sitting out here in 99-degree weather looking at a fishing pier. Okay?
We have close to 300 feet, don't we? 300 feet of ramp to get there.
The fishing pier kind of is a little bit bittersweet because I was essential before now, and now they don't need me as much. You know, anybody can get these chairs up and down, but that's awesome. Of course, I'm kidding.
Jerry came up with a lot of really good volunteers.
Yeah, some of the volunteers were really special.
Some of them just went out there and worked their hearts out. I mean, they're big and healthy, and
it's amazing what happens when you have volunteers.
Sharon and Jerry Miller are the personification of being servant leaders.
They had an opportunity to come out and see a need of a simple task of fishing and make an astonishing accomplishment.
it's not a 45 degree, but it's a pretty good angle. Everything you had was either up at the top when you were at the bottom, or down at the bottom when you were up at the top.
And the first thing in the morning, that hill wasn't that steep.
Huh?
But by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that hill got,
Oh,
it just kept
man,
growing all day long.
Was it ever steep? Got steeper and steeper.
The reality is this fishing pier is just an outward representation of some incredible people and some incredible things.
We have plans here from various engineers and things, but these are all drawn up in an office somewhere, and they didn't fit.
When we ended up, we were within a couple inches of what he had figured out in the first place. Have you ever thought if they would have made the pier 2 foot higher, we wouldn't have had to do all that digging?
That's true. Next time.
Yeah, no next time.
This is what's left over from the gate. Some pieces, you know. These are some prototypes from the benches that we made. This is the back, and then that's a seat. That bolted in there somewhere like that.
We'd like to give Steve something to have him remember and keep of digging into this hill.
So this is our old saw. Hang on. That's from the old school. It's got 3 dry belts in it, 1947. You remember that, don't you, Cliff? I think he's reasonably satisfied with it.
I hope so.
You know, he hasn't filed any formal complaints yet.
1, 2, 3. Whoops!
From vision to completion, this project will provide access to fishing and recreation for all who visit Riverside Retreat Center in the future. It has involved an entire community of organizations and individuals. This pier and walkway opens up the Caloosahatchee at Riverside Retreat so that all members of our community are able to enjoy the beauty of nature.
I think you do another one. You're a big softy.
Thank you to all who have made this vision a reality.
One of the most important and key issues you need to solve is you have to get the community behind you and understanding that what you're doing makes a difference in the community.
My life has really changed as a result of volunteering, and I think that's the case with every volunteer.
I'm gonna call myself a volunteer, okay? We're old. We are old people. So, I mean, what I have to say to you volunteers is we need to get some of these young people in here.
It's the community's responsibility to rise up and to serve and to love unconditionally. And to take it a step further, really it's the church's responsibility to be the hands and feet of Christ and serve others and to love on others and to make sure that this ministry continues.
One of the things that's been revealed to us is that this is a beautiful community, and we will trust you, that you'll take the legacy that we've left, that you'll build on it, and what we know is what looks impossible now will be possible in some new and different ways, maybe ways we won't even see.
Seeing the campers love each other. Again, this is that area.
We call upon you to join this movement, really. It is a movement. It's a very small thing. It's not a movement like campaigns down streets. It's a movement in hearts.
We look at the special needs adults perhaps as lesser than, and yet in that aspect they're greater than, because that ego is not there.
I get the benefit of helping at the camp. Now you're going to make me cry a little bit.
You know, a lot of times, whether it's in the church or out of the church, we think that we have to say the right words and make a beautiful presentation of what it means to follow Christ or what it means to know Christ or to know God or to experience His Holy Spirit. When the reality is that God is already working on drawing all people to Himself. And so as an evangelist, what I'm looking for is in what ways have you responded to that way that God is calling you? Sometimes it's really explaining and unpacking what the work of the cross means. And thousands of other times it's just living out your faith and loving on people where they are.